It's no secret that Overwatch's hero meta is constantly changing due to how frequently things like health and ability recharge rates etc. are tweaked every season, leading to some of the heroes underperforming in the current season in comparison to how they were performing in the previous seasons. Whilst these heroes are no longer in meta, it doesn't mean that they're a bad pick. I can't remember the last time that DOOMFIST was seriously in the meta, but he's still a great pick because of how strong he is on the dive. Hell, he had a surprisingly high pick rate in both Overwatch League and Overwatch World Cup. And whilst yes, these players are the best of the best, that surely has to mean something, right? In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why you might want to start learning DOOMFIST. Now this isn't a direct guide, but more a bit of advice for newer players that aren't sure which tank to learn. I'll get into that in a sec, but first I'm going to ask you to subscribe and leave a like on this video, as I want to continue making Overwatch 2 related content that's not only entertaining, but educational too. Now I'm going to come fly out the gates and say that in higher ranks, Doom is going to get harder and harder to play because more skilled players know how to effectively counter a dive. But does this make him a bad hero? No. When on the attack, Doom makes for a great addition to the team because of how much space he can make, with both Rocket Punch physically knocking the enemy backwards and Seismic Slam allowing him to jump right over the front line, bringing attention to him on the flank and creating the off angle. Yes, you might die, but because you opened up the off angle by distracting them, so will your enemies. As I said before, Doom is extremely strong on the dive, and this is because of how his abilities work. Both Seismic Slam and Rocket Punch give him some insane mobility, and if either of them hit an enemy, they deal a fair chunk of damage. On top of this, dealing damage with your abilities grants temporary overhealth, meaning that when you go in on a dive, you gain an extra bit of health that keeps you alive long enough to win most fights you engage in. If you find yourself getting low on health, then you can always use your block to mitigate damage whilst your abilities recharge, and then you can use those abilities to run to your backline. Taking lots of damage whilst blocking also empowers Rocket Punch, so you could also try to take out an enemy on your way back to your supports in the backline. This is a very important thing to do. You need to stay in the fight for as long as possible no matter what role you're playing. And with Doom, you have no excuse to not run into your backline with your abilities to get healed up. It's one of the things he's best at. You dive in, get kills hopefully, then dive back out to stay alive. That's the thing with dive comp, you have to work as a team. If one person is slacking off, it could mean that you lose the entire fight, so please don't let that person be you. You can add a bunch of value to your team by playing Doom, so make sure you stay in fights by going back to your supports rather than risk losing because you couldn't be asked to fall back. There are some maps that DOOMFIST excels on because of the environment. You should be using your punch to get environmental kills if you can. But if not, then punching enemies into walls deals a lot more damage than just punch on its own. This is where most of his damage comes from. If you land a successful punch, your enemy's health bar plummets by a fair amount. The fact that punch does knockback is probably the best thing about the ability. It means he can get some stupidly cool plays on maps like Lijiang Tower where there's areas to knock enemies off the map. But that just about does it for my little vid on DOOMFIST. Obviously, this wasn't a guide, more so a video giving reasoning as to why you should learn him. If you want a guide, keep your eyes peeled because I might make one soon. He's one of the very few tanks that I actually enjoy playing because of how fluid it feels to jump across the map and punch your enemies off the map, like a poor rendition of that one scene in 300.
This is Sparta!
Not only is he strong, he's fun. And it's important to have fun whilst playing Overwatch. It's a bit difficult, but it is possible. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Once again, I'm going to ask you to like this video as it lets me know that you find these videos not only to be helpful, but entertaining. Let me know if you have any requests for other heroes in the comments below and subscribe so you don't miss that guide when it comes out. There are some heroes that I probably won't be able to make a guide on simply because I don't play them enough, but there are many more heroes on the list that I can make guides on than I can't make guides on. Finally, have a nice day or night if you're watching this at night and make sure to check out my other videos. Not only will I appreciate it, but you might too.